All right, here with Dave Tepper. Dave, BSM Summit, another one. As far as your takeaways, what has stood out to you the most that you'll carry away from this?
I was like, hearing from so many successful people in that space. I'm lucky to be at all these so far. I'm gonna try to keep that string alive. And there's a lot of things that are similar every year, but I always enjoy just to take away from everybody. But I love to hear about from Colin talking about pace, which I think is a very big important thing that we all pay attention to or should, especially when it comes to attention spans. And it was on multiple platforms, but that's very, very important. I love hearing from Jim Rome. And I love just how that guy just continues to tell the stories about persevere. I can remember when he was here a couple of years ago, he was talking about selling vacuum parts, and just doing whatever he had to do, believing in himself to make that grind. And then I didn't know the story about where he got the opportunity in San Diego, and the Santa Barbara boss was like, well, if you go for that, I don't expect to have a job back here. And he's like, all right, I'll take my chances. So I think those perseverance stories are always important because we're in the entertainment business. We were talking about this last night. We're in the entertainment city here. And when you hear about folks like him talking about keeping it going, persevering, there's so much to that whatever part of this industry that we're all going after. So it was fun to hear him say that. And then I thought Bruce Gilbert today, I took away his line about excellence over success. I think is terrific because really our business, especially when you're measured with Nielsen, which is just so unpredictable, if you strive to be the best you can be of what you do, eventually things break your way. Sometimes they don't. But if you're trying to be your best, excellent at what you can do things about, you usually capture some breaks. And I thought that was, that's what it's about. So those are three things I really took away.
Well said, man. And it's interesting where Rome, his tough beginnings, I was just sitting there like, if it was smooth at the beginning, he might not be here 35 years later. And for you, you had a PD ghost you, right? If you didn't have that experience, right? What does that do to your hunger? Does that make you hungrier when it wasn't seamless at the beginning?
Yeah, I wouldn't change any of it, because, I think talent is an important piece, but more important than that is your drive, and believing in yourself. And no matter what obstacles come up your way, I tell folks this, especially younger folks all the time, as long as you've got that flicker of passion still in your soul for it, don't let anybody else put that out. And if it does go out, then it does. I mean, that's an okay thing to know. But the wind can blow on that hard and you can just barely see that wick flickering. But as long as you have that going, keep at it. So yes, if you move to another city and the opportunity isn't there that you were told was there, is that what you got into it for? Or are you going to keep going and believe in yourself and make it work? And to go from somebody like Jim Rome, who's just at the top of what we do, and you hear again about him selling vacuum cleaner parts and had other programmers say, if you do this, you can't do that. He just said, I'm not giving up. Yeah, I think it's, listen, if you have an easy path, God bless you, that's terrific, right? How you get there, it shouldn't be something for anybody to judge. But have some adversity along the way, it really tests your belief in yourself, and I'm all for it.
Cool stuff. Dave Tepper,